Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Mission Energy Foundation, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you to day two of the Water Optimization Conference 2021. I'm your host for the day. My name is Anisha Nair Thapan. A day earlier, we heard from industry leaders and experts on how crucial it is to conserve water and recycle it not only for plant efficiency, but also for the betterment of local communities and the society. We have another day of information sharing through discussions and presentations, a virtual expo where leading solution providers are showcasing their latest products, solutions, and services. And the icing on the cake today is the Water Optimization Award 2021 to honor utilities and the services sector who demonstrate the highest level of commitment and the best practice in smart consumption of water at thermal power plants. We're going to begin with a panel discussion on are we in line with the National Water Mission and the policy and regulatory development. Now, data shows that industrial plants in our country consume about 2 to 3.5 times more water per unit of production compared to similar plants operating in other countries. There is an urgent need and scope to make the system more efficient and operate with reduced quantity of water. Further, unlike irrigation, the industries require water on a regular basis throughout the year. Therefore, to ensure reasonable availability of water, the industries during the lean period also had to inculcate a habit of efficient use of water. The government has already mandated specific water consumption limit for power plants per unit of electricity produced, and the National Water Mission is considering new regulatory structures combined with appropriate entitlements and pricing. Regulations for in-house water withdrawals for industries through royalties and licenses could become a reality too. Mandatory water assessments as well as audits and ensuring proper industrial waste disposal could also become a reality. Are we in line with the National Water Mission and policy and regulatory development? To speak on this, please welcome our esteemed speakers. We have Mr. P.D. Siwal, former member, Thermal Central Electricity Authority, and Mr. Sudhir Bhartia, senior DGM BHEL, who will be speaking on this subject. We are very delighted to have Mr. Siwal and Mr. Bhartia with us. I would request Mr. Siwal to please start the proceedings and tell us how far have we reached as far as regulatory compliance is concerned. Good morning, Mr. Siwal.
Good morning, everybody. As already been told by Ms. Anisha Dhawan that the water is scarce is very rare. I'm sorry, it is water is a scarce commodity, and we have to use it precisely as we need. The present installed capacity, all India installed capacity, is 208, more than 208 gigawatt of thermal. I'm talking of thermal. The total capacity is 387 gigawatt. If you talk of the thermal capacity, such a this installed capacity required a lot of water. Even if we go by these parameters 3.5, you can imagine how much water we need. If you read the report of Ministry of Water Resources, it's already showing that the water is depleting in so many live storage, and the rivers are getting dry. Even the picture which they have quoted, the 2050, 2050, our water scarcity will go up. So we have to be very cautious for using the water. What I feel that even if there is a limit, we should strive to get lower and lower. We strive to get to save the water as much as possible. Government of India has already taken so many steps. For example, this supercritical technology, ultra supercritical technology not only saves the coal but also water. Introduction of renewable energy so that the stress on the thermal power projects may reduce. High concentrated slurry disposal, air cooled condenser, which a beginning has already been made by NTPC. These are the some of the initiative already taken by the government, and I hope that in future the water limit, it may further go down because the scarcity of the water. The priority is for the drinking and the agriculture. Drinking water is most essential. So my opinion that every project, especially the old project, they should go for the water audit. We are more dependent on the what this fresh water. If you see this water which is being used, sea water is being used as very few projects. Most of the water they are, most of the plants are using fresh water. So we have to adopt the technology which not only reduces our coal consumption but also water consumption also. BHL has already taken initiative to go for the air cooled condenser, which is a good step, but simultaneously it will increase the electricity consumption. So we have to make a balance somewhere because I feel we need water availability much more than the existing. The per capita consumption is already going down drastically. This is an alarming situation. Our new projects, this Ministry of Environment Forest has already restricted this consumption quantity, but still I feel that it should be our initiative. Means the unit should strive. They should take initiative to save as much water as they can. Of course, a lot of units they are trying hard. Earlier, we used to give even award for those who are consuming less water. So, if you if you think that if we can save some water that can be used for our drinking and agriculture purpose, my idea, even if we save, say if its limit is 3.5 cubic meter per hour per day, but per unit, but if we can save even little bit water and seeing the whole use quantity, that can be benefited to the society much more than we think. Earlier there was no limit, so the old projects they were using even 7-8 liter meter cube per hour, but now there is a restriction. In one of the study I noticed that most of our projects, of course they are well within the limits, but still there are scope where we can reduce the water consumption. Cooling tower, if we focus on this, major consumption is in the cooling tower. If we can focus on this to reduce the water consumption, or if we can use to blow down water as efficiently as we can, or we can reduce the evaporation, or we can think of some other technology, that will be a good idea. Of course, NTPC has already taken lead in this. They are trying to reduce the evaporation for this. The water storage system where we're using this solar panel, floating solar panel, is a good idea to reduce the evaporation. Similar line, if we can think in some other area, that will be a good initiative. So my request to especially the old power plants to see if they can save as much water as they can. I'm now thankful to Mission Energy for giving me this opportunity to talk to all of you, and I'm thankful to Mr. Khatri who has invited me as a speaker, and I would like to wish to continue, but I have some other engagement, so I would prefer to leave. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Civil, for your time and for sharing your knowledge and experience. Thank you, sir, for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Now, I would request Mr. Bhatia to please speak. Mr. Bhatia, Mr. Civil has said that there should be perhaps an effort to do make the effort to optimize water on your own without regulation, without a sword hanging over your head. But self-regulation so far is not really working. Water audits are not done regularly. So, what kind of regulatory environment do you see in the future? Mr. Bhatia, I'm unable to hear you. Would it be possible for you to perhaps remove your earphones from the laptop itself? Then perhaps I'll be able to hear you.
Mr. Bharti, I would request you to test your microphone from the setting buttons on the top right corner. Once you speak, the green dots next to your name, they start reflecting. That means your audio is correct.
I think Mr. Bhatia is going to be with us shortly once the technical issues have been sorted, and then we can hear his comments as well. We've heard Mr. Civil talk about how important it is for everybody to conserve water on their own part, make the effort on their own, because it's a scarce commodity, and should there, we've already seen in the past, at least in the year 2016, a lot of power plants are in water scarce area, and because of the drought, they had to shut operations, and that is a straight off loss for power plants if they are unable to operate. So it's better to conserve so that we have water around the year, and that is the message Mr. Civil gave. But of course, there is the National Water Commission that has come up, and they have a plan for better utilization of water, better efficiency of water, and that may entail greater regulatory oversight as well. So we try to understand where we are for the thermal power plants in the current situation, whether they will be in a position to comply with the regulatory laws laid down, and could there be more stringent laws? What would be the approach that they would take? So we're just waiting for Mr. Bhatia to connect, and then we will get their point of view as well. Mr. Bhatia, we are still unable to hear you, sir. Would you say something? Okay, so we're going to take a little break till we sort out the technical difficulties and get Mr. Bhatia back. Just bear with us. I request your patience. We'll be back very quickly.
इसी को करता हूँ अदरवाइज अगेन
Welcome back. We are happy to have Mr. Sudhir Bhatia, Senior DGM BHEL with us. Mr. Bhatia, thank you so much for joining us. You just heard Mr. Sewell talk about how self-regulation is a good way forward. Do you believe in it, or do you think we need stricter laws? And could they come about in the new National Water Commission?
Yeah, so a very good morning to all, and first of all, very sorry for all that between glitches in my system. So I'm very thankful to Mission Energy Foundation for giving me this opportunity to speak about the National Water Mission policies and how we are going to implement it, or how we are really as of now where we are standing as far as the water conservation and the meeting the regulatory requirement of water mission is concerned. So of course everybody knows that water is become so precious and scarce, and this must be planned and very judiciously reused and recycled. Of course, minimizing the water is very important as the freshwater resources are diminishing day by day. So as I think Government of India has also initiated the program of Jal Shakti Abhiyan, and recently I was just going browsing the uh, data, and I was finding that there was a national water policy saying that catch the rain. So it is very important that we really improvise some new idea to conserve the water. And one part very important is the rain harvesting. So in this direction also, as a part of DHEL putting our plants, we are just trying to collect as much as possible the rainwater. So in part of conservation of water, as Mr. Siwal has already explained the measures which are required to really minimize the water consumption as per the recent guidelines issued by MOEF, that all the power plants, they must minimize the water consumption to the tune of 3 cubic meter per megawatt. A plant which is installed after 1/1/2017, and the earlier plants, the existing plants, they must meet a water consumption requirement of 3.5 cubic meter per megawatt. And of course, they have also made the use of cooling tower mandatory, because for particularly the coastal area plant where we were having the once through system, the consumption of water was very high. It means almost around 17 to 20 cubic meter of water per megawatt of electricity generation. So there are some regulatory requirements by Government of India to minimize the water. So to minimize the water and really achieve a kind of zero liquid discharge concept, there are some measures which, as part of BHL, we are taking, like Mr. Siwal said, use of supercritical plants, where we are operating the plant at a pressure of 221.2 bar and above. And with this, our makeup water consumption is also drastically reduced. Earlier, in comparison to subcritical, where we were having some drum boilers and the makeup water was around 3%. With the supercritical technology and the efficient use of condensate polishing unit, we are able to reduce this makeup water less than 1%, even to the tune of 0.5%. And of course, what Mr. Siwal said, the use of air-cooled condenser. So with air-cooled condenser, the whatever the evaporation loss in the conventional cooling tower using water-cooled condensers are getting reduced. So if suppose for sake of just data, if I am using a requirement of for my 1 into 660 megawatt plant, the total the circulating water requirement is something around 90,000 cubic meter. So you can imagine that if there is a evaporation of 1.4, 1.5%, then how much water that will be evaporated, and that is going uncontrolled, and there is no recycle of that water. So that 1.4 or 1.5% of direct evaporation water is being saved through the use of air-cooled condenser, and of course the blowdown from the system will also be saved. So using ACC, of course, is drastically reducing the specific water consumption of power plant to the tune of 1.4 to 1.5 cubic meter per megawatt. But of course, there is a limitation that with the ACC, which is based on the climatic condition, there will definitely be some rise in the specific calorific value of the plant. But of course, water is so important because as we know that the critically the allocation priorities are very important for water use. Like first of all, we have to see how maximum we can conserve of water for our drinking purpose or the irrigation or hydro purpose. So power plant comes at a very later stage. So of course, we have to see what is the best possible way we can really conserve the water. In this direction, the way Mr. Siwal also touched upon the ash handling plant, we can have different type of ash, because ash handling system is one of the major consumer of water in power plant. So earlier we were having some lean water system where we were making a slurry of ash and then disposing it to the ash pond. So to conserve the water, gradually we have improvised, and now lots of plant is having high concentration slurry disposal system where we are making a slurry of almost 50 to 55%, reducing almost 50% of water. And the next step is using the dry disposal system, where we are almost reducing the water to the almost zero level, I can say touching the zero level, apart from using some water for spraying and controlling the dust of ash. So these are one of the major steps in ash handling system also, where we are controlling. And of course, there is a I think the people will be knowing cycle of concentration in cooling tower, and that cycle of concentration uh, indicates how much water that is to be blown down from the cooling water system. This cooling water system. So as per the recent practices, the cycle of concentration should be around 5. Of course, that depends upon what is the quality of water and how much chemical that you are dosing, what is the metallurgy that we are going to use. So all these factors are into place while deciding the cycle of concentration. And one step in this direction is using the trivial quality of water for the power plant, because fresh water, of course, fresh water should be very judiciously used for our priority applications, like I just explained, like in the drinking water or irrigation purpose. So recently also CEA, Central Electricity Authority, has issued a guideline that a plant, if a power plant is coming in a place nearby a city, then the preference should be given using the treated sewage water. So that is one uh, uh, way that we can really conserve our fresh water. And of course, we should also try that the maximum plants should be in the coastal area where we can use the sea water, maximum sea water. So these are some steps like I explained. The zero liquid discharge is also one of the ways where we can really minimize the water use, minimize the wastage of water, and judiciously we should have an integrated approach of using the water in our power plant application. So I think these are the very pertinent points which we are really nowadays we are uh, very cautious in the water use in our power plant. And of course, the rainwater harvesting, I think this is one of the key area where we need to work on so that we can have the direct reserve of the very fresh water. Because desalination, doing the desalination from seawater again is a kind of you have to burn a lot of energy, and ultimately then once you are draining your energy, then you have to again generate that energy. So that may not be a very wise uh, way of thinking the water conservation. So we should really look in the direction of rainwater harvesting, how best possible we can conserve the water, and what is the best possible way that we can really efficiently use the water. These are the key points in this direction. So I really thanks Mission Energy Foundation to give me this opportunity to put forward my views on this debate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bhatia, for giving us your address. Just one question from my side. You said that all the practices that you spoke about, these seem to be self-implemented within, your own consciousness. Do you think there is room for greater regulation with, penalties for not following the norms, or for greater royalty for overusage of water? Do you think these could become a reality? And I think we're getting a few questions as well. So if you could answer this, I'll take the other questions coming in as well.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Bhatia, do you think there'll be more regulation going ahead?
Yeah. Just let me. The voice is breaking. It seems. Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Please, can you repeat your question? Sorry, I could not hear.
The question is that what you outlined was that we'll have greater regulation. There should be self-regulation, should do it on your own. But do you see more regulation from authorities under the National Water Commission as well, royalties or penalties for over withdrawal and things like that?
I think that definitely, but already there is a very strict regulations of using this water to the tune of 3 cubic meter, and and there is already a very strict audit already going on as far as the water consumption is concerned in power plant. So I think there should be some time because the plants are yet to install the FGD kind of thing, and of course the cooling tower also in the old plants as per the guideline of recent MOU. So we have to give some gestation time to really check to what extent we have really followed the recent guidelines.
All right. Mr. Bhatia, we have received a question. Mr. Satyanarayan Rao has raised his hand and wants to ask this question to you.
Yeah.
Mr. Rao, could you unmute yourself, turn on your video, and please go ahead and ask your question? Mr. Rao, I'd request you to please, you're on the stage, so please unmute yourself and turn on your video and ask your question. Yeah. Please go ahead, Mr. Rao. Mr. Rao, would you go ahead and ask your question, please? I think Mr. Rao is unable to hear us, or he's not ready with this question. So I'm going to have to, I think, wrap it up here. We have Mr. P.K. Bandhu also with us. Mr. Bandhu, he is the head of environment, Metho part of Tata part. Mr. Bandhu, would you like to make your presentation now, or would you like to make a presentation after the break? I would request you, Mr. Bandhu, to please unmute yourself and let us know.
Madam, it will be better to present after the break.
All
just
right.
I am preparing.
Right,
Okay.
sure, absolutely fine. What we'll do is we'll take a break. Mr. Bhatia, thank you so much for joining us and
Right,
sharing
thank you.
your views and thoughts with us. We'll take a break right now for about 20 minutes. We will return at 11 a.m. and start with our sessions afresh. Do join us again.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.